The Democrats have begun their National Party Convention, and as you must know by now, a Roman Catholic priest was brutally murdered in his parish by two ISIS operatives. We'll discuss all of that on tonight's program. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Here is the priest who was killed, murdered. His throat was cut. Father Jacques Hamel, 84 years old. He was in the middle of celebrating Mass when two devout Muslims yelling Allah Akbar came in. They forced him to his knees. They preached something in Arabic around the altar, and then they videotaped it, and then they proceeded to murder him, to cut his throat, which is, of course, the pattern that was established by Muhammad himself, the founder of Islam. By the way, in Islamic Sharia law regarding jihad, it states specifically that it is legal under the Muslim rules of war to kill priests, monks, men of the cloth. They've thought about this, people. Now we're going to get to the Democrat Convention. Obviously, we are going to cover the Democrat Convention all week. Coming up are excerpts from various speeches, including Michelle Obama, but we have to talk about this for a minute. By the way, I watched the convention last night. Hopefully you did as well. You might have noticed what was never said. There was no mention of ISIS. Not one syllable about ISIS. It was almost bizarre. Believe me, there are going to be far-reaching ramifications for what is going on in Paris and in Germany. In case you've missed the news, because so much of the American press is, the major media is trying to suppress it, but there have been two recent attacks in Germany. Obviously, you know about the Iranian student who probably is a Shiite. There's still not good details coming out, but he was a Muslim terrorist. There was somebody who went and hit people with an axe on a train. And then just breaking news right now that some Muslim young men, about half a dozen of them in their young 20s, went into the German equivalent of a YMCA, where the people who are swimming are allowed to swim nude, okay? Do I think that's immodest? Yes. Would I do it? No. But this is a club that they belong to, and the Muslims went in and threatened all of them with extermination. So we have a priest dead. The video footage will emerge. I'm certain that it will emerge. I'm sure they were live streaming it. ISIS has taken full responsibility for this killing. By the way, these two were known by authorities, okay? They were known by the authorities. One of them was wearing an ankle bracelet, like the kind that would identify where you are. And the police and the local authorities were allowing him to have free movement between 8:30 and 12:30, if my memory is correct, 8:30 and noon every day. So he's been in prison for terrorist activity. This church where the attack was launched was on a list that was obtained from a terrorist that was arrested. They gave this terrorist the freedom to move around from 8:30 to noon, and he goes at 9, during his free time, he goes at 9 with another Muslim terrorist and murders a priest during the Mass. I have a friend who is a part of, they call it the CERT team, C-E-R-T, the Christian or the Church Emergency Response Team. And they are trained in proper weapon use and what to do should a Muslim terrorist or any other terrorist come into a church service. We have to begin to prepare our American churches for this. If there had been quietly sitting in there, just an armed guard, a parishioner who's properly trained, there's a very good chance that the priest would be alive and the terrorists would be dead. Friends, I know that this is hard to hear, but this is Islam as started by Muhammad. I invite you to get a copy of this book, The Life of Muhammad by Ibn Ishaq. Get a copy of this book and read it for yourself. Just read it for yourself. This is written by arguably the most respected Islamic historian regarding Muhammad's life. And see for yourself what every Muslim terrorist in the world is reading and imitating, and then you'll understand. Terrorists have not hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam. They are following the example of its founder. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we will look at excerpts from various speeches from the Democrat National Convention. May God rest the soul of this dear priest, 84 years old, a martyr for our Lord Jesus Christ. He did try to resist them. It was futile. And now he has gone on to his eternal reward as a martyr for our Lord Jesus Christ. I'll be right back. If you own a business and would like to advertise on our program, please contact us. We are currently seen on over 130 television stations from coast to coast. We air at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then all times are local. We have a lot of reach, friend, and this is an opportunity at a great price for you to get your product or your service in front of hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people. Also, if there's something that's important to you and you'd like to have a month where you just say thank you to this ministry or promote a certain ministry or a certain cause, contact us. Our rates are incredibly affordable. You'd be surprised. And you, again, can reach into hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of homes. We're currently seen possibly in over 30 million homes. So give us a call, give us an email, and we'll put a commercial up for you. If you just joined me, my name is Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. This morning, a Roman Catholic priest, Father Jacques Hamel, was killed. His throat was cut inside of his parish in Normandy, France. They burst in, the Muslim terrorists burst in while he was celebrating Mass. This is going to have far-reaching ramifications in France, Germany, England, America, Holland. You can bet on it, friends. And it should. And to my utter shock last night, during the DNC, not a word was said about ISIS or Islamic terrorism. Not a syllable. Now, we're going to play clips, and I have to confess that the DNC had a lot of sizzle. Paul Simon sang, Bridge Over Troubled Water. They had music videos about people who were on drugs, and how Hillary is so wonderful. But it was a rough day for the Democrats because of the video, or rather the WikiLeaks letting all of those emails out, and there's more to come. Debbie Wasserman lost her job. Debbie Wasserman was booed. The Bernie people were right all along that the DNC was not neutral in the primary process. They were doing everything they could to mock Bernie. One of the emails had to do with him being an atheist and a Jew. Said, my Southern Baptist peeps might be okay with him being a Jew, but not an atheist. And can't somebody ask him these questions? And bad day for the Democrats on that level. And so we're going to play this quick montage of the jeering. This was their worst nightmare on the PR side, the division that there was in the ranks, jeering from the floor of the DNC.
Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine want to build an economy that works for everyone, not just the people at the top. Excuse me.
Ours is a party of unity and not division. Our platform has passed my father's test, and it has done so not by seeking common ground, but aspiring to higher ground.
For me, this choice is personal. It's about who we are as a people. It's about what kind of a country we want to be.
This is what democracy looks like!
Hillary.
Unity.
Hillary.
Can I just say, to the Bernie or bust people, you're being ridiculous.
After the end of that clip, when the comedy gal there said, you know, you're being ridiculous, they started to boo her even more. Just flat out booing her. So this is not what they wanted on day one. What they wanted was, I'm about to show you this handicapped young lady. And well, you know what? Go ahead, watch the clip.
In a country where 56 million Americans with disabilities so often feel invisible, Hillary Clinton sees me. She sees me as a strong woman, a young professional, a hard worker, and the proud daughter of immigrants. My father from Nicaragua and my mother from Ireland. She has shown me that all these aspects of my identity are strengths which will help me affect change. I fear the day we elect a president who defines being American in the narrowest possible terms, who shouts, bullies, and profits off of vulnerable Americans. Donald Trump has shown us who he really is, and I honestly feel bad for anyone with that much hate in their heart. I know we will show each other and the world who we really are in November when we choose genuine strength and thoughtful leadership over fear and division. Donald Trump doesn't see me, he doesn't hear me, and he definitely doesn't speak for me.
So in some ways, this was very moving, but you know, it didn't address the fact that Hillary's position is that a woman should be able to find out if the baby that she's carrying is handicapped, so that the baby can be killed by abortion. That young girl, I mean, she's a poster child right now, but if that young woman was in her mother's womb on today's playing field, Hillary would be saying, listen, you have a handicapped child, exercise your right to choose. But anyway, I don't want to go too far on that. But why didn't they have some of the kids that have survived abortion? You want to see handicapped children, show the ones that had a chemical abortion, came out alive and survived, and now they're handicapped because of the burns, the chemical attack on their body when they were trying to be killed. The thing that struck me the most about it, the drug addiction stuff, is it was like we were electing a mother-in-chief. Not a commander-in-chief, but a mommy-in-chief or a nurse-in-chief. All this time was spent about people who are drug addicts and that we need to be a welcoming society and mocking Donald Trump. Donald Trump's talking about ISIS, talking about terrorism, talking about immigrants coming in, and like we see happening in Germany and France right now with the murder of this priest. He's talking about things that matter. He is going to be elected the commander-in-chief. And I just felt like Hillary was running for mommy-in-chief. It didn't work for me. But there were some great speeches. We're going to hear from Michelle Obama in a moment and a small clip from Elizabeth Warren, who was interesting. We'll just say that. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Friend, this program is supported by friends like you who believe in what we are doing. We run a very tight ship. Thankfully, we are on over 130 stations across the country, having tremendous impact. We get emails every day. We get letters in the mail, not every day, but almost every day. We hear from people who love what we're doing. What people don't understand is that it's sort of expensive to produce a television show like this. It doesn't require earth-shattering funds, but it does require financial help. So I am asking you, if you enjoy this program, throw us a $10 or a $20 bill every once in a while, or even a $50 or a $100 check. You see the address there on the screen. Your gifts are not tax deductible, by the way, because we want to be able to say what we want to say regarding politics without the IRS telling us no. So if you like the program, I ask for your support. How do you spell hypocrisy? D-N-C? Look at this fence. Do you understand that the DNC convention has a 4-mile, 8-foot-high fence around it? To keep Americans out. That's what's really funny. And they complain about Donald Trump wanting to build a wall to keep foreigners out who are coming in illegally. Anyway, here's Elizabeth Warren, clips from Elizabeth Warren's speech.
Where was Donald Trump? In all these fights, not once did he lift a finger to help working people. And why would he? His whole life has been about taking advantage of that rigged system. Time after time, he preyed on working people, people in debt, people who had fallen on hard times. He's conned them, he's defrauded them, and he's ripped them off. Look at his history. Donald Trump said he was excited for the 2008 housing crash that devastated millions of American families because he thought it would help him scoop up more real estate on the cheap. Donald Trump set up a fake university to make money by cheating people and taking their life savings. Donald Trump goes on and on and on about being a successful businessman, but he filed business bankruptcy 6 times, always to protect his own money and stick the investors and contractors with the bill. Donald Trump hired plumbers and painters and construction workers to do hard labor for his businesses. Then he told them to take only a fraction of what he owed or fight his lawyers in court for years. So, what kind of a man acts like this? What kind of a man roots for an economic crash that cost millions of people their jobs, their homes, their life savings? What kind of a man cheats students, cheats investors, cheats workers? Well, I'll tell you what kind of a man. A man who must never be president of the United States.
Okay, she was very aggressive. She made her points. But I think that anyone with a history in business would know that you really can't rip people off for year after year after year and become a billionaire doing it. It doesn't work that way. And maybe, just maybe, if her dad had been employed by Donald Trump, she wouldn't have grown up in so much poverty, because Donald Trump pays his people pretty well. Be right back with Michelle Obama's speech, which really and truly was political genius. I want to invite you to go to our website. Almost every book that I have ever written is available as a PDF online for free. We have a ton of products, training materials, tools that are available for you for free. All we ask for is that you give us your email address. That's it, so that we can stay in touch with you and, yes, from time to time, ask you to support this work. So I'm inviting you, go to the website. Now, for those of you who say, well, I don't want a PDF, I want a real book. You can get one of my books. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling and then give whatever gift you want. And if you can't afford anything, we'll send you the book for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Why are we doing all this? Because we want to change the direction of the country, and we need to raise up a fresh generation of warriors to do that. That's why we have this tool. I invite you, go to the website, see for yourself. I want to show you excerpts of Michelle Obama's speech. We were going to play the whole thing tonight, but because of the murder of this priest by ISIS in France, we had to rearrange our schedule. But I'm still going to play the whole thing. We'll play some more of it tomorrow. It was brilliant politically.
You know, it's hard to believe that it has been 8 years since I first came to this convention to talk with you about why I thought my husband should be president. Remember how I told you about his character and conviction, his decency and his grace, the traits that we've seen every day that he served our country in the White House. I also told you about our daughters, how they are the heart of our hearts, the center of our world, and during our time in the White House, we've had the joy of watching them grow from bubbly little girls into poised young women, a journey that started soon after we arrived in Washington, when they set off for their first day at their new school. I will never forget that winter morning as I watched our girls, just 7 and 10 years old, pile into those black SUVs with all those big men with guns. And I saw their little faces pressed up against the window, and the only thing I could think was, what have we done? See, because at that moment, I realized that our time in the White House would form the foundation for who they would become, and how well we managed this experience could truly make or break them. That is what Barack and I think about every day as we try to guide and protect our girls through the challenges of this unusual life in the spotlight. How we urge them to ignore those who question their father's citizenship or faith. How we insist that the hateful language they hear from public figures on TV does not represent the true spirit of this country. How we explain that when someone is cruel or acts like a bully, you don't stoop to their level. No, our motto is, when they go low, we go high. With every word we utter, with every action we take, we know our kids are watching us. We as parents are their most important role models. And let me tell you, Barack and I take that same approach to our jobs as President and First Lady, because we know that our words and actions matter, not just to our girls, but to children across this country. Kids who tell us, I saw you on TV, I wrote a report on you for school. Kids like the little black boy who looked up at my husband, his eyes wide with hope, and he wondered, is my hair like yours?
All right, friend, I'm out of time. Join with me tomorrow. I will play more of Michelle Obama's speech. We'll stay on this story of the ISIS attack in France. God bless you. participate in American politics, friends, because it's the alternative to war.